Um, Wardlow had some very, very interesting comments in an interview about his match and feud with MJF. He was talking about how there was such a big build to the match, and there were so many things that were happening, with MJF and Wardlow's personal life that kind of ruined the match. Um, Take that as you will. Wanted to know, do you think that this is like legit, or do you think that this is a work? Like, do you think that Warlow really doesn't bang with MJF, or do you think that there's some tension, or do you really think that, this is all just a part of a plan for MJF to come back to AEW?
It would be really elaborate and fucked up and twisted if it was, like, this long of term of booking that they decided to, get other people to get on interviews and, talk about some beef, but I do think that I'm starting to believe that this is not a work,
Mm,
mainly because MJF hasn't spoke negatively about WWE. Every time I ever read a report about, like, if he would possibly jump to other sides, considering that he's wanted everywhere. I mean,
yeah.
he's young, he's good in the ring, he is a phenomenal talent, he's very unique in his craft. Um, I could definitely see based off of just all the factors that are going on. I don't think he gets paid enough for all he contributes to the show. I do feel
Hmm.
like him not being there is very noticeable.
Yeah.
If they do take him back, he has to come back with a fat contract. There's no other way. There's
Yeah, he's
no
getting the
fucking
bag.
way. He has to, and like it's insane that like they're signing other people like to way more money than him because just like again, MJF never had a belt, at least to my knowledge, never had a belt. I haven't stopped watching for weeks or but the only thing he has gotten is a ring.
Yeah.
That was it. And yet he feels like the one of the most important people to that company that was
Hmm.
freshly bred through AEW. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like he has the most memorable moments, the most memorable promos. You know what I mean? Because again, AEW has their characters and they have their wrestlers. He's definitely like a character, and characters stand out in wrestling. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
To a casual fan or someone who's just like from WWE walking over and switching the channels to AEW, you're gonna gravitate towards the MJF just because
Right.
again, he's a character, he's unique, he's very entertaining and stuff like that. I do feel like he hasn't gotten his moment. I could understand his frustration.
Mm.
I do see Wardlow's point of view on being frustrated because, he showed up, he's doing his job, and someone else did not because they're frustrated and
Yeah.
he felt like it hindered him. I don't personally think that it hindered him. I think that everyone respects Wardlow. Um, if anything, over time, I actually gained more respect for the feud between him and MJF just because
Hmm.
I got to actually see Wardlow be more than just a lackey and see
Yeah.
him actually carry himself as an independent talent. But I honestly, yeah, I I hope I actually kind of hope he doesn't come back to AEW. I kind of hope he gets signed to WWE. I feel like he kind of fits better there. And I guess I might have fell for it, but I think that there's actually some tension there. That's just me.
I agree um with that. I do believe that this has gotten to a point where it is not a work. I think this is real life. I feel like everyone at some point has gotten increasingly frustrated when they add value to their place of work and they feel like that value is not reciprocated via proper compensation or proper recognition. The fact that Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara have held the TNT championship and MJF has not is criminal. The fact that CM Punk and CM Punk and Chris Jericho and John Moxley has now hold that belt twice and MJF has not is criminal. Right? Like, and
It
then
is.
there's like the ring that we were talking about, what you were talking about was the Dynamite Diamond ring, but that's not something that gets regularly defended. It's something that's brought up once a year, and then when he's in the feud, it's like, oh, he's a Dynamite Diamond winner. But it's just what's the payoff of the Dynamite Diamond? Right? Like, is it just something? Like, and I think that that was the biggest takeaway for me. It was just something. I feel like it doesn't really hold any weight or value. It was just kind of used as like a bone to throw talent that may not be satisfied. But I personally think that when it comes to MJF and World, when it comes to MJF, he definitely needs to make the jump to WWE. You kind of touched upon it. I'm gonna touch a little bit on it in the sense
Go
that
ahead.
I think that Tony Khan needs to get humbled a little bit. Because I feel like, with the exception of like these past couple weeks to a month ever since Hunter's taken over, he's talking loose and acting like he's untouchable. And I feel like if MJF goes over there and does his thing and he gets pushed to the moon and there's a rocket attached to him, then I feel like Tony's gonna wake up and be like, "Oh, all right." Because if you're investing more into your older talent than you are your newer talent, like what's the difference between you and Dixie Carter? Um, but I do believe that this is not a work at all. I think that MJF is legitimately dissatisfied. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If they prove me wrong and they prove it to be a work, then it's a work. But
It's a damn good
um
one.
it's the damn good one and pretty realistic. And then we would have to give Tony Khan credit for being, ahead of the ball creatively. But I think this is real. This is very, 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 very real.